Welcome to Wednesday Night Live from the Basement. Here's your hosts, Rob, Daryl, and Joe.
Gentlemen, how you doing today?
Good, and it's awesome to see Daryl. I just got on right before we went on, so I didn't get a chance to say hi. So hi, Daryl.
Yeah, no, all good.
Glad you're back, man.
I'm still dressed up in my just got back from graduation shirt.
Oh yeah, sure. That would have been last day today, or
last day for me is tomorrow, but we had our grade 12 graduation today.
Nice, that's good. With a class of 4, 5, how many?
29.
Really? Oh shit!
29 graduates this year, which is
great.
It's pretty big. Biggest one I've seen.
That's good.
That's awesome. Chris, how you doing, sir? Good morning in Wales, I guess. Is it morning over there? Must be, yeah. 5 hours, right? So it's 1 a.m. over there. And Trevor, how you doing, sir? Fine gents. Actually, I don't know about fine gents.
Yeah, that's pushing it. That's pushing it.
That's pushing it.
So we've got one person that is 2 o'clock in the morning. We've got another that is 5 o'clock in the afternoon because Trevor's in Seattle, unless he's in Detroit. I'm not sure where he is in the world. Sure. I'm not sure where Record Hound is. So we're just trying to fill all the time slots, I guess.
Daryl, Chris enjoyed your book video. So there you go.
Yeah, I haven't done a book video. I don't even know if it's going to take off, but hey, I thought it was kind of fun to do.
That's all that matters. Having fun doing it. So having fun doing it. We don't have a guest tonight. It's just the three of us. We tentatively had someone lined up, and then, life got in the way, which sometimes happens. So they had to bail. And I went through my regular roster of people that you frequently see here. And everyone was like, I'd love to, but I got this thing I got to do. I'm traveling, whatever the case may be. So it's the three of us tonight. So
we can do it.
We can manage. It's not like we haven't done it before. So
nope, that's right.
So Joe and I are sweating our balls off. It's so goddamn hot. And Daryl's freezing, right?
For the most part, today was mild. It was okay, but yeah, it's been pretty damn cold up here.
You're the hottest though. Like that picture I sent you was fairly well descriptive. Like we're warm here, but I don't think we're the same as you guys in your heat bubble or whatever the hell they call it.
It was 4 days. I mean, today was still miserable. Record Hound saying Donut Niagara, south of Toronto, along the shore of Lake Ontario. I drive by that like once a week in that area all the time. It was just like 4 days of hell. Today was the coolest day. And by cool, I mean here where I am west of Toronto, it was 35 Celsius, which is close to 100, I think, for our American friends. I think.
Yeah, something like that. And then dripping wet too, right?
Like 80% humidity. So there was one day yesterday or the day before, we had a dangerous heat advisory on for a couple days. And there was one day that with the humidity, it was 46 degrees Celsius.
Yeah. And that I can live with when I'm in like Vegas and it's super dry. That's okay.
Sure.
I can take heat, but it's like the wind chill. It's like the wind chill in the prairies. It's the opposite for you guys in the summertime, right? So yeah. We had tornadoes last week, not right here, but we had, I think, 8 touchdown, nothing big and nothing serious and damage, but nobody hurt. And then North Dakota and Montana below us, I think actually more North Dakota had quite a few actually, and some bigger ones. I don't know if anything was F5 anywhere. It's not like Kansas tornadoes, but we get them every once in a while, and we get big ones every once in a while. But thankfully, they've never really hit town other than a long time ago. So.
Well, Rob's favorite summertime event. There was a tornado that hit near North Bay earlier this week, and they had to evacuate all the provincial parks there because there were people that had their tents crushed by trees and everything there at Samuel de Champlain Provincial Park and Northern Algonquin.
if you're dumb enough to go camping, you're going to risk a tree falling on your head or a grizzly bear having you for lunch. That's your own stupidity.
Joanne was telling me, and I don't know where it is, but if you're out there, look up on YouTube. There's these 2 grizzly bears somewhere, I think in BC. They're just in the middle of town, and they're fighting. They're fighting for like an hour, and nobody goes up or does anything to them, thankfully. But people are just sitting in their cars and watching. And I don't know if this guy did the time lapse because I didn't see it. She was just telling me about it before we got on. But it's a couple of bears at it in the middle of some town in, I think, BC. I'm sure although I don't know if you want to Google bears wrestling BC, because you might get a couple of different kinds of videos. I'm not sure what you're going to get. So, right.
And speaking of crazy weather phenomenons, though, how is your neck of the woods, Joe, with all those forest fires? You and Saskatchewan, Manitoba.
Yeah, we're better. We had a lot of rain for a couple of days, and it got in the places that it needed to get. So the really big one is kind of knocked down a little bit. And then Manitoba, I think it's a little bit better. There's a town that's right on the border up by Flin Flon in Saskatchewan that is kind of pretty much gone, unfortunately. But I think it's all settled because we did get thankfully got a little bit of rain, and it was in the right places. I mean, we got it everywhere, which was good for fires, good for farmers, good for lawns, good for all of that. So, the fact that it was kind of a pissy weekend rain and stuff, I had no problem with that whatsoever because a lot of people needed it. So
I'd like some rain. My grass is starting to dry out.
Yeah.
We need it. Chris Mann's complaining that it's like 15 over there right now. I was on his stream on Sunday, and he was complaining about how hot it was, and it was like 25. And I said, Chris, you got nothing to complain about, man.
No, definitely not. So
what else we got going on here? Let's see here. Chris likes your lighting, Joe. He says it's looking good.
Yeah, I mean, I like to sit in the dark with just the colors, and it never looks that good. I mean, I don't look any better when it's brighter, but it overall looks a little bit better.
You look better in the dark, Joe.
Yeah, I believe it. I know. I'm comfortable with it, too. I was going to sit outside again, but our daughter Emily's over, so her and Joanne are out there chatting, and I didn't want to intrude on that. So,
Did they not realize that they're sort of infringing on your massive YouTube stardom?
Yeah, that's it. Exactly.
Right?
Not so much, but next time. I thought it would be fitting for this evening, but next time, because I think it worked out okay out there, and it is nice out. So,
right.
Anyway.
Chris says they have no air. I mean, do you mean air conditioning? Because if you had no air, you wouldn't breathe. So presumably you're talking about air conditioning. You're practically right on the ocean, man. I Google Street Viewed your house. I know it sounds stalkerish, but I was sending Chris some records in the mail today, so was curious where the package would ultimately end up. Can I go on a rant for a second?
Of course.
And this is only going to matter to you three. I fucking hate Canada Post. I think we've all had this thing. So I sent 4 records to Chris today in Wales. I knew that it wasn't going to be cheap. But we've all heard about the labor dispute with the union at Canada Post, and they're saying, Canada Post, we need help. We're on the verge of bankruptcy. Fucking go bankrupt, because the rates that they charge are criminal. So aside from the fact that my package was stupidly expensive to send, the woman at the post office today says to me, "Would you like tracking with that, sir?" And I go, "Well, how much more is that?" "That will be an additional $27.
Yeah, I know.
And I said, literally, fuck that.
Yeah.
No wonder nobody uses Canada Post anymore. I mean, it costs $30 to send a record anywhere in Canada. Forget 3 times that to send it overseas, by the way. Yeah. Plus, you want an extra $27 to scan the package? Sit and spin. I hope Canada Post goes bankrupt. Like, that's fucking ridiculous.
Yep.
There was a guy that I was sitting. Well, he was my roommate while I was in the hospital in Kingston. He was a retired Canada Post guy. He actually stated to me, because I asked him what his opinion was on the whole strike thing, and he says they better take this fucking deal or they're absolutely fucking retarded.
Yeah,
he goes, I worked for Canada Post for 30 years and it's fucking bullshit what they're doing.
Sure. Yeah, my dad was a postie too for 30, 35 years. And, they were always back and forth in the time. And this was 20, 30, 40 years ago. And the same shit's been going on forever, right? So, But yes,
my brother-in-law's my brother-in-law is like a mid-level executive at Canada Post, and I give him shit all the time, and I go, and he's always complaining, "Oh, business is down." I go piss up a rope, Bill. Like, I love my brother-in-law. He's an awesome guy. I love him. But I'm like, go piss up a rope, Bill. The amount that you guys charge to send anything, you shouldn't be in business. So piss off.
And they're busy, I think. I mean, I go there, I see that. I mean, I don't know what they charge to be the holding spot for a lot of the Amazon bullshit, right? Because that's usually a thing, and whether they charge them or what they charge them for that. But yeah, I mean, I'm not expecting to pay $5, but I'm also not expecting to pay 30. Although, with that said, they did a nice job of getting Daryl's stuff to him because it got there quick, and yours. Like they get the shit right. It's just the pricing, I think.
The pricing is ridiculous.
Right? Yeah.
You can be down south and you can send a record in a record mailer anywhere across the continental United States, and it's like less than $15. I can't send something across the city for $15.
No.
It's nuts. I was talking with my wife's uncle this afternoon because I bumped into him somewhere, and I was ranting about the post office, and he goes, "I mailed a letter, just a letter, like a piece of paper folded up in an envelope, like we used to do when Joe was a kid, before email was invented, way a long time ago."
Yeah,
a letter to England cost him $12 to send it. It's for a piece of paper. Ridiculous. Rant over. I hate Canada Post. I hope they go tits up.
So in the weather, back to the weather for a second, Chris is cold or whatever, but Trevor is nice. 20 degrees. I'm good right at that. I mean,
me too.
I can take the heat, but that's all I need. I need 20. I don't need 40s, and I don't need much less than 20s. I'm a 20s kind of guy. And then Julie said that it's nice in Montreal, nice out for gardening. So that's good. It's good to know everywhere's kind of okay.
It was kind of hot when I was in Montreal last week. That's why we didn't have a show last week, folks, because I was in Montreal for work, and I was flying back Wednesday afternoon. And I got home literally like 10 minutes before our live stream would have started. So it was too much of a rush. So, but when I was in Montreal last week, it was pretty hot as hell there too.
Was it? Yeah, I think. Yeah, I think for the race,
not like it was, like the last couple of days. But I also had to dress up. So you're wearing, a dress shirt and a sport coat, and you're sweating your nuts off. It was miserable.
I don't even have pants on, so
me neither.
It's good.
Neither. I never have pants on.
I actually thought about, because of our topic, which we'll get to, I thought about sitting here with no shirt on or whatever. But then I thought, oh no, because then everybody will just tune out and we'll never get anybody to watch.
No one will ever come back.
No, exactly.
Chris is saying, Joe, he completely finished that podcast you recommended 2 weeks ago. Absolutely tremendous, mate. Addicted.
Yeah. He sent me a note. That was, for those that don't know, it was the zombies. Actually, it was the fake zombies. It's cool. If you're out there looking for a new podcast, it's 4 episodes, I think, or 3 episodes, and they're about an hour each. And it's a cool story about the fake zombies. So yeah, I'm glad that you enjoyed it, Chris. That's great.
Cool. When I was on Chris's stream, we were talking about, I don't remember what the hell the topic was, but I showed the Crossroads soundtrack, and Chris, being over in the UK, was not familiar with, the whole Robert Johnson, selling his soul to the devil at the Crossroads legend, myth, whatever you want to call it, which is the basis of the film Crossroads with Ralph Macchio in it. So I said to Chris, I said, watch it, man. It's a fantastic movie. So this is what he's referring to. He just watched it. So
yeah, I haven't watched that one for a while. I've skimmed past it a couple of times on one of the services and meant to watch it again. Just the cutting heads is awesome with Steve Vai, and yeah, it's good stuff.
Yep. Julie's doing gardening. That's awesome. We did some of that on the weekend. Alex, how you doing, man? Does Joe's shop get special discount for receiving or sending in vinyl? What does that mean?
We don't. No, we don't. What I've paid to send you guys stuff basically is the reverse of what we pay to bring it in from where we get it from our suppliers. Mm-hmm. So yeah, and they don't use Canada Post. They use a couple of different. Sometimes it's UPS, sometimes it's DHL or whatever. But yeah, so no, it's a bit of a racket up here. It's kind of like cell phone plans in Canada.
Oh yeah, no kidding.
Anyway, yeah. different topic, different day. So
we can bitch about all that kind of stuff. Yes, Mike agreed. It's always been a ripoff. Get your pitchforks, torches. Rob is starting a Northern Revolution against Canada Post. Goddamn right.
Get off my lawn.
Record Hound's going to join that. All right, let's rise up, folks.
That's right.
The only thing that would make Rob want to become the fifth, there's not a reason on God's green earth that I would want to become the 51st state. I will move as far away as I possibly can if that were to ever happen. I love my American friends.
Yes.
But I am a fiercely proud Canadian, and it's insulting that orange motherfucker would even suggest that. Sorry for the profane language, but I hate the man more than you could possibly know. Looking forward to the new Bruce Springsteen biopic. Yeah, me too. Yeah. That's going to be a fun one, I think.
Yeah, I think Jeffrey Allen White, right?
Something like that.
Is going to crush it. Looks really good. Looks really good.
Do you have your Lost Albums box set pre-ordered?
No, it's on the shelf at our supplier, and so I'll probably have it. I don't know if I'll have it by next show, but I'll definitely have it next week. And there's another like another 10, 12-minute version of Bruce talking about the albums.
Yeah, I saw that.
I'm very excited. I know it's just not just another 7 albums. They never really talk about what the other 2 are. I don't know if that's just the greatest hits or the compilation of.
It's a compilation of.
But I guess that's what's in there because it's 9 discs in the box. Anyway, hearing Bruce talk about it and explain a little bit where it came from, how he got there, how he finished it, and just the differences of all of the albums, what they're going to be like. North of Nashville is going to be way different than, so very much looking forward to it. And we've got a couple orders for it at the shop as well. So there are a few people that, and we've got it at $450. I know other places have it a little bit more than that, but we've got it at $449. So, yeah.
I'm going to do what Chris is going to do. I'm going to pick up the 2 LP, curated track, shall we say, from this, because I can't afford the 7 albums. So
neither can I, but screw it. What the
hell? Trevor say he just started dipping his toe into the Bruce catalog, and I'm the instigator. You know what? I've been buying records for 30 years, and I don't use the word discovering Bruce Springsteen because that sounds stupid. I knew who Bruce was, obviously, and I had Born in the USA and never listened to it. When I mean discovering, I mean actually, going down the rabbit hole of getting into his music. One of the most, rewarding experiences. It's incredible. I'm only halfway through his discography, but God, I've enjoyed it immensely. Joe and I were sort of talking, we should make a video about it because he's the Springsteen expert and I'm the newbie, but we'll have to figure out exactly how we're going to do that. But I do want to make a video about it because that's been my biggest sort of musical thing in the last year. So figure it out. Glad you're getting into it, Trevor. We'll have to talk about that at some point.
He's we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that later when we do a video and when I've got the box set. So
Chris is blaming me too that I got him in Nebraska. So Trevor's blaming me and Chris is blaming me. So I guess it's official. I am now a social media influencer because I've influenced 2 people.
That's right. If you get over 1, if you're just influencing 1, no, not so much. But 2, I'll give you that for sure.
If only I could influence my 9-year-old son to do some math, then I'd be really successful.
That would be good. Yeah, exactly.
What's Julie saying? Serge Fiore from Harmonium passed away on the 24th of June, national holiday of Quebec. They might organize national funerals if anyone I didn't hear that he passed away.
Yeah, I didn't hear that. Who else? Not. Oh, there was it one of the guys from Bad Company yesterday? Yes. Yeah. And a kind of a teen idol guy as well, whose name escapes me as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Of that like Ricky Nelson era, but that wasn't him. I can't remember what the hell his name was. Yes.
Someone will come up with it in the comments. We have smart people in the comments that watch. We don't have to know shit.
It's
we
good
just have to bring it up and then everybody else.
There's no smart people on this panel. There's Daryl, who's smarter than the 2 of us. Bobby Sherman. There you go. Thank you, Record Hound.
There you go. Perfect. So, and great to see Daryl back. I mean, we've talked a little bit and things, but it's great to see you back on because it's been a minute, as the kids say.
It's been a minute for sure.
I was away last week.
Three
You were
weeks.
sick the week before, so it's been like 3 weeks. So we missed you, man.
Yeah.
And Joe and I were worried about you. So glad you've got the clean bill of health and everything's good. So
Clean bill of health enough that I was an
for you while
MC
you were away.
tonight.
Oh yeah, you were the MC for graduation. Very exciting.
Yeah. Yeah, in front of standing in front of 200 people is it's interesting to say the least.
Is that a big deal for you?
I don't like standing in front of people too much, but talking to people, talking to some friends of mine, and they were like, you know what, 98% of those people are looking at you and they're going, I'm glad that ain't fucking me up there.
Yeah.
It's funny when we used to, like, grade 4 was the first year we had to write a speech in class, right? And I'm terrified of public speaking. And then for some reason, later on in life, it just like it flipped a switch, and I had no problems doing it. When I was in university, for the last 3 of the 4 years that I was there, I was the president of my department because we had like a governments for each of the departments. And so I'd go into all of the first year classes and, give a little, welcome to the department kind of speech. And I'd go into these first year class and there'd be 600 people there. And I'd go in and talk for 10 minutes. I'm like, no big deal. And then in my real life now, I used to teach training classes all over North America, the big groups of people, and it's no big deal. It doesn't bother me anymore. But scared the shit out of me when I was younger.
I think for me, because it's a once a year thing, something I'm not used to doing.
Sure.
You just need to get like in big kiss-like letters up behind you, the legend, and then have it like scroll and bounce and do all that
fireworks and some.
Yeah, exactly. Little at the end, like just some pyro at the end.
Yeah. I think that's a great idea.
I did a KISS book report once in, I don't know, grade 9 or whatever. I took 2 big lighters with me, and at the end, I just kind of held them up at the end, and that was the big finish, was me holding up, because I could get away with that at the time. Anyway, so
my son's in grade 4, and he just did. My wife and I were invited to a presentation of his. He did a PowerPoint on milkshakes, and he presented it in front of the class. So me and my wife made chocolate milkshakes for his class. Kids were all spun out of their mind by the end of that.
Perfect. That's great.
Chris is apparently
he even put a video in it.
That's cool. Chris is trying to get us on top. We've been talking for 10 minutes. We've covered nothing. This is why I love this job.
We've covered it.
Well, since Chris wants us to get on topic, our topic is it's goddamn hot. So we're going to talk about albums that are sort of summer albums, songs that are summer songs. Nothing deep tonight, but let's talk about. They don't I'm not saying the song has to have the word summer in it. No, if I want to, knock yourself out. But a song that maybe is about summer, or you hear all the time in the summer, or makes you feel like summer, or however you want to interpret that. That's what we're talking about today. So,
excellent.
I'm going to go first, if that's okay, for once.
Of course.
Because I have the absolutely perfect record to kick this thing off here. So I'm going to enlarge myself. That sounded terrible.
Yeah, things that sound dirty but aren't.
Aren't.
Yeah.
Okay. Since we are under a heat warning for the last 3 or 4 days here in Southern Ontario, I'm going to show this incredible album. This is Linda Ronstadt's Prisoner in Disguise, which came out in 1975. There she is, looking hot as hell back in the day. And the reason that I am showing this is because she did an amazing cover of the song Heat Wave.
Having a heat
made
wave?
Famous by Martha Reeves and the Vandellas back in the 60s. Written by Holland and Dozier and Holland. Great song. Her version of it is incredible. I have said countless times I think she's the greatest female singer there ever was, ever is, whatever. So just an incredibly powerful performance of that song. And as the rule is, if it's a gatefold, you got to show it. And it's just got a handwritten version of the lyrics on the inside. So we're kicking that off with Heat Wave by Linda Ronstadt.
Very nice.
All right, Daryl, follow that.
I'm bald as bald can be now. Shaved my head today.
It's summertime.
All right, so I know I showed this on a recent video, actually the video. So because I was in the hospital all that time, it gave me plenty of time to think of all kinds of video topics to do. And then when I got back, I wasn't allowed to because I had to get a catheter in my wrist and all that kind of stuff. I wasn't allowed to lift things for about a week. So I got to stay home. And while I was at home, I made a whole pile of videos and they're all on like a schedule right now. So Greg from Spirit of Vinyl did his thing yesterday. I can't remember what it was, on summer or something like that. And I did my video, and the first thing that came to mind was the Beach Boys.
Of course.
If you want summer music, and this one here, a lot of people in the comments have been saying they haven't seen this particular. I think it's a greatest hits one, and I think it's one of those based on what you see down here with their faces. I think it's one of those wear 3D glasses type of a cover. I'm not sure what that is, but this has like Surfer Girl and Barbara Ann, California Girls. I mean, this is beach music at its best. And I guess when I think summertime and I think heat, I think I want to go for a swim. If I'm dripping sweat, dripping my balls off like you guys are down there, that's the first thing. Yep. And unfortunately for me, it's such a boring back on this cover, but unfortunately for me, we wanted to set up our pool. We bought a new pool for the boys. We had to replace it. And the weather's been so miserable. I'm not even going to bother because the water's not going to heat up enough by the time I leave for my summer vacay. So I'm looking forward to swimming when I leave this place in warmer weather. But yeah, no, the Beach Boys, that was the first thing that came to mind as soon as you suggested this topic the other day.
Same here. I might show some later on. I tried to get Sam to come on tonight as our expert. I asked John to get on, but John couldn't make it. So I know he's watching in the comments. He's got some other things going on. I tried to get Sam, but Sam's on vacation, so he couldn't join us. But it would have been good to have the Beach Boy expert here tonight. So
for sure.
Stay tuned, John. I guarantee you that's coming up. It's in my pile. And that song is not about summer. It's about winter. But we're going to talk about it. Okay, Joe.
I bought a collection yesterday, 120 or whatever. There's a couple of Beach Boys in there that I've never seen before. So they're sneaky. And they had a lot of, I think, not bootlegs, but like official, unofficial albums that were out there of theirs. These two look, one is a newer one. I could have just brought them out, but anyway, they're in the boxes over there. And then one is somewhat of a greatest hits, but not Endless Summer, not the one with just the beach on the front. It's a completely different one that I've never seen before. So there's still Beach Boys albums coming out that I've never seen before. So, all right, I'm going to go with a band I talk about all the time, but I don't care. You guys are sick of me talking about them, but I know you two like this album, and it is Green Day because it's Corvette Summer.
Yes.
Have you seen the movie Corvette Summer? Do you guys remember that one? Yeah. Nope. So it was it Mark Hamill or Ron Howard? I think it was Ron Howard. Anyway, gets his Corvette stolen, then they got to go and they got to try and find it. It's a cool video for Corvette Summer that Green Day did. This is the new deluxe version because, yes, I'm a knob and I bought the new deluxe version even though I had the old one. So fancy pink and white. And then it does have a gatefold and it's got and I think I showed this one maybe the other day, but lots of cool stuff from the tour that was in not honor of this album. They did play almost all of it, but good stuff. It's got an extra disc with 5 new songs and then a couple of acoustic versions. It's really good. And Corvette Summer, like I said, seek out the video because it's cool. And before I forget, Chris, man, I do not have Green Eggs and Ham. I do not have them, Chris I am. Anyway. I did not watch any recent music documentaries, and no, Rob, I have still not watched the one I'm supposed to, but I did last night watch a documentary on Raquel Welch. So if you want to watch something fairly interesting, plus if you're like me and you think she is one of the most beautiful women in the world and always has been, it's a good watch. Anyway, so there's your recommendation, Chris. I know you like me to recommend a documentary every week. This time it can't be a music one because I haven't watched any, but watch the Raquel Welch one. It's on I don't know what it's on. It's on Crave, so I'm not sure what you'll find it, but it's out there somewhere.
All right.
Yeah.
Nice.
I don't know
What songs are on that Green Day one. I forget what songs are on that.
Well, yeah, like I said, there's 5 new ones on this one, but you know, American Dream is Killing Me, Look Ma, No Brains, Bobby Sox, One Eyed Bastard, Dilemma, Coma City.
That's the one, Dilemma.
To a Son, Saviors. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
I really like it. I know I've said it often and I don't need to repeat myself again, but it holds up against American Idiot and Dookie as one of their best. I think it's, I mean, that's the 3 right there. I think.
Agreed.
And that's 40 years in, 30 years in, 35. So yeah.
Yep. I love it. I still got to pick up that deluxe version at some point in time. So.
It's good. Like the new songs fit very well on it, and they're good. So yeah, it's worth it.
John saying he's in the middle of a hailstorm down there.
Yeah, that's not what you want. That's never good.
Summertime blues kind of day. That we talked about. Let's see here. Record Hound saying there's a Capitol compilation. That's a Capitol compilation. Cover kind of looks like it's a Pickwick. Yeah. Honeymoon Suite. Yes. Someone say greatest hits. That's Chris's favorite word. The people at Good Mythical Morning are in a golden T-shirt contest, and in it, the terms it states that Canadians must pass a 2-minute What does that have to do with what we're talking about? Did I miss something?
I don't know. No, I don't think so. Maybe.
Oh. After me and Rob were talking the other night, I rewatched Walk the Line. Yeah, what a great movie. I showed that soundtrack too for some reason. I don't remember what the hell Chris and I were talking about on his live stream. Sorry, Chris. I don't remember what I did yesterday. Nothing personal, man.
Well,
I showed Walk the Line. That's all I remember.
Yeah, the most recent one was because he got 666 subscribers.
Right.
So that was Sunday, and I tried. I just couldn't make it.
It was devil, hell, and fire because he had 666 subscribers. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Going back to your greatest hits comment there, Chris. Don't be surprised in the coming weeks if a greatest hits video is coming out on my channel some point. Uh-oh. And I think they were talking about this Beach Boys one. This is a Capitol pressing. I do have it on Capitol, so I think that's what they were talking about there. Right?
Yeah, I think so. Okay, we're gonna go around again. Fasten your seatbelts, folks. This one's gonna be fun. It's gonna take me a couple minutes, but bear with me on the ride here. So, if we're talking about summer, you know where we're going.
Are you kidding me?
You know where we're going. But just like I said, this is going to be a ride, so buckle your seatbelts. Summer of '69, Joe's favorite song by his favorite artist. So before I get into this, I'm sitting in the airport in Montreal last Tuesday morning when I arrived because I had a bunch of time to kill and I had to get something done. So I'm sitting having breakfast in a restaurant, doing some work, and Summer of '69 comes on the radio. So I grab my phone and I'm texting Joe. And this is like 9 o'clock in the morning here. So it's, 7 o'clock in the morning where Joe is, 8 o'clock, whatever. And I'm literally in the middle of typing, "Hey, Joe, I'm in the airport and Summer of '69 is on the radio." I'm halfway done that sentence. And bloop, I get a message from Joe. "Goddamn Summer of '69's on in the work truck."
Yeah. Yeah. It was It was the timing was like, it's like, what the hell? That is the fastest response to a text I ever got.
Right.
But then I assumed you were just typing me the same thing. So it wasn't just playing where I was, it was fucking playing where you were too.
At the same friggin' time. How funny is that? So Summer of '69 is not about the summer of 1969. Summer of '69 is about a summer romance. And yes, take 69 literally, because that is indeed what it is about. And if you read the lyrics, that is the interpretation. And Brian has said that is exactly what it is about. So, summer romance, right? I mean, we've all had them. That's what this song is about. There are a lot of instances on Bryan Adams records where you're going to see this song. And Joe, I'm going to show you every single one of them right now.
Excellent.
So, that's the album Reckless. You'll also find it as a single. And the B-side is The Best Was Yet to Come. But we're not done yet. On the Diana 12-inch single, you'll also find The Summer of 69 and another track called the Bryan Adams Mix, which is a mix of a bunch of songs that includes Summer of 69. We'll also find it on Brian's first compilation called So Far So Good. It is, in fact, the very first song, Summer of 69. Oh, we're not even close to done yet, folks.
Great.
You're also going to find it on Brian's most recent compilation called Ultimate. There it is right there. This is one of his greatest hits, Chris Mann. They came out in 2017. We're not even a third of the way through the pile yet, folks. You're going to find it on the live album, Bryan Adams Wembley 1996 Live. There it is right down there. Great live album that came out in 2016. This was a concert that he did at Wembley, 27th of July, 1996. You will find it on this, which is the live version of Reckless, recorded in its entirety in the second Royal Albert Hall box set. So this is a live version from, when did he record this? 2024. He did the entire Reckless album live. So Summer of 69 is on there. Brian also did the Taylor Swift thing where he re-recorded some of his greatest hits so that he would own the rights. And of course, the first one he did was Summer of 69. This is an incredibly rare Bryan Adams record that just came out a year ago on his own label. This is Bryan Adams Live in Lisbon, which was recorded in Lisbon, Portugal, the 31st of January, 2005. And of course, Summer of 69 is on this record. We're still not done.
We're still not done.
The album Live, 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 which I wish I had on vinyl, but is very hard to find. This came out in 1988, has Summer of 69 on it. This was a concert that was recorded in 1988. You will find it on the Bryan Adams Anthology, which came out in 2005. This was yet another greatest hits compilation. And I know Chris Mann's getting very excited with all of these greatest hits references.
Yeah.
Brian did a tour and a supporting album called Bare Bones, where he recorded live in front of an audience a bunch of songs, just him and an acoustic guitar. And guess what song's on here? Summer of 69. Brian did another best of in 2000 or 2001, and it's called The Best of Me. This is the hard to find 2-disc version, which also has a live disc from South Africa. So Summer of 69 is on the first disc, and it's also on the live disc that's on here. So it's on here twice. And lastly, there's the unplugged version from 1997. Those are all the places that you can find the officially released Summer of 69. How do you like that, Joe?
And we're done. Gotta go.
Good night, everybody.
That's good. So while you were doing that, I quickly looked up, and I don't think the stats count if there isn't a set list for a specific show. But I looked up how many times he's played that song live, and it's 1,660 on Setlist FM. But again, I don't think it counts if it doesn't make the set list, and not every show has a set list. So, right. I mean, how many times has he played? Because that's
his signature song.
Right? That's the song. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, definitely. And
you don't hear, if you don't hear that, you want your money back.
Yeah, and I heard Everything I Do It For You the other day, and I couldn't turn it off.
I hate that song.
It bothered me a lot because I couldn't. I had no control over where I was, and I had to listen to it.
Yeah, hate that song.
I don't. Just to clarify one last time, I don't hate him as much as I am so sick and tired of so many of his songs.
Well, every time I bring up Bryan Adams, I talk about how big of a fan you are. So when I was lying in bed last night, I thought, wouldn't it be super annoying if I showed Joe every single Summer of 69 that Brian has released?
Yeah.
And I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah. Well, the day we were talking about the text thing, I heard it 8 times because it was the 40th anniversary. It just didn't matter. I work in the back of our office, and so I play my own stuff back there. But every once in a while, I'll walk out to the front. I heard it twice there. I heard it on the way to work. I heard it in the morning having a freaking shower. Again, couldn't get out and turn it off. But anyway, it is what it is. Trevor, I don't know if you're here still, but that is a fantastic song. I thought about bringing that one up, but I showed 5150 a little while ago. But Summer Nights by Van Halen's a great summer. That's the thing. The summer songs really do fit into the summer for the most part, I think, right? They've always been great summertime songs, obviously just because it's in the name, but still.
Trevor says he's got to head to bed. The summertime album for him is Van Halen's 5150. It was a big album for me in the summer of 86. Plus, the song Summer Nights also helps this choice. Good night, man. Have a good night. Glad you could join us for a little bit.
All right. Daryl, have you got any Bryan Adams you can show?
Well, actually, I was gonna say, Rob, if you ever want to make a journey, you know where else you could go to listen to Bryan Adams?
Where's that?
In the summer of '69?
Where?
Well, you could actually come to my house if you want.
Oh, okay.
And not only do I have one copy of Reckless,
Sure.
this is the silver lettering. I have 2 Bryan Adams Recklesses that we could listen to. This one is the white lettering.
Ooh, we can listen to them back to back.
So we could listen to them back to back. And Joe, you are more than welcome to come up here and listen to it twice if you would like.
Fair.
I'm sorry. What'd you say? I had you on mute that whole time. Sorry.
I do have one more copy of Reckless. I have the 30th anniversary 2 LP that has some live Hammersmith songs on it. I wonder if it's just a live version on that one. Hold on a second. Let me just look.
You guys are such good friends. I would sit and listen to Bryan Adams with you. So there you go.
I have a feeling, Joe, that this is like a guilty pleasure. You've got this in your collection somewhere.
Oh, okay. It's right. Yeah, it's right down there. Actually, I could pull it out, the Bryan Adams, if I wanted to. And again, I've said before, he puts on a fantastic show live. He's coming. I'm not going. But anyway,
I can't believe my oversight. On the 30th anniversary edition of Reckless, not only is it on here, but then side 4, which is live from the Hammersmith Odeon, April 1985, there's a live version of Summer of 69. So I forgot one. Now I have shown you every commercially released version of Summer of 69.
There's probably a 12-inch dance 15-minute version of it too, probably somewhere.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. But now I know Joe's life is complete now that he's seen all of that. So
it is exactly.
Let me just catch up on a couple comments here, and then we'll keep going around. Sometimes you only need the greatest hits. I agree. I just like chucking shit at you, man.
Yeah.
Has Bryan Adams broke records with greatest hits? No, he just put out a lot of them. There's 1, 2, I think he's got 4 different greatest hits compilations, which is way too many. Yeah, I really wish that the MTV Unplugged would come out on vinyl. It never will because he had a dispute with his label, and he has his own label now. And so there's some rights issues there. So there's some stuff that's never going to come out on vinyl, unfortunately. So roll it on the live stream on Sunday. He went, and this is just Joe. Let me try that again. Roll it on the live stream on Sunday. He went with, this is just for, yeah, I did. I showed a Bryan Adams and I said it was just for you. So
yeah, I appreciate that. In your latest video, you also discussed
I did.
And I blocked it out of my mind so much. I didn't even see it on the album cover. And I went, yeah, but you didn't talk about my favorite song. And you went, yeah, I did. But anyway.
I did. So, okay. Are you showing something other than Reckless, Daryl, or was that your pick?
Sure. Why not? Why not? I can do that. Hold on. So I've talked about this on your show before when we talked about the most ugly covers ever.
Yes.
And I don't get this cover, but for whatever reason, I do have quite a few yacht rock in my collection, and Christopher Cross and his I think that this is a self-titled album. Yeah, it's the Christopher Cross. Anyway, this is the one that's got Sailing on it. And what a better way, as much as I've never been on a yacht, I've never gone sailing. I would love to do it someday. And for me, for whatever reason, just the sounds of yacht rock music, even on Grand Theft Auto. Oh, look at that. Nice sunset. Yeah, sunset there on a nice beach. This is just a classic album. I mean, even if you don't like yacht rock, I mean, I've I haven't found too many people that don't like Christopher Cross. I don't know. There's just something about him. And maybe Rob.
See, now this might be, I might be making this up, but yacht rock is a somewhat of a newer term, correct? I believe.
Yeah, it's just that soft, breezy music.
Yeah, but
I think
Christopher
they just
Cross
call it
was
soft rock, I guess.
yeah, he was so ahead of his time, though. If you show the album again, what it looks like to me is that you're looking out the porthole of a yacht, like you're down in the bottom and you're looking out the porthole. So there you go.
It
Yacht rock
definitely fits.
before there was yacht rock.
Yep, it fits. That's for sure. Okay, Joe.
All right. So I've either gone with summer, I went right on the nose, or I've gone with heat in the title of the album. And up next is a little John Lee Hooker and Canned Heat with some of the most ring wear you'll see on an album cover, but still. So it's John Lee Hooker blues with Canned Heat's voice, and it's interesting. It's different. If you're familiar with either of them, and then you throw the two together, it's pretty good. But there is the gatefold. So there's Mr. Hooker, his old self, and there's the boys from Canned Heat. They got together. I'm not sure what would have brought these two together, but something did. There's probably a story. Yeah, there's a whole story here. So I'm not going to read it, but it's interesting. It's an interesting mix of John Lee Hooker, with the blues, the guitar, and his style. And then, the guys that sing "Going Up the Country," for those that don't know. So it's different. It is. I don't listen to it often, but it's fun every once in a while. Because again, not again. I didn't say it the first time. I like John Lee Hooker. So there you go. Hooker and Heat, not to be confused, because there's a video out there, Hookers and Heat. It's totally different. Totally different. It's like two bears fighting. Two totally different videos.
All right.
Canned Heat's great. It's such a weird song.
Heat. Yeah.
Go with the Country, such a weird song.
Oh, I know. I never used to, and then all of a sudden it clicked, and yeah, that's not bad. I think I'll enjoy that now. So it's pretty good.
Chris is talking about some double penetration. That's save that for the OnlyFans, man.
Not
Christopher Cross didn't have his picture on his first LP. He is the last of us fugly uckers to succeed.
He's the guy. He's the guy that would be on The Voice nowadays.
Right. Absolutely. That's fantastic. Okay, we'll go around again. If John's still watching, no, John, this isn't Billy Joel. I don't want Billy Joel. But this is, I know, someone John really likes. After the Beach Boys, the next song I thought about immediately was Sheryl Crow's "Soak Up the Sun." It's a happy summertime song. She wrote it on an airplane because she was inspired to write something happy, and that's what it was. It was the lead single on her fourth album, Come On, I think it's called. Don't have it on vinyl, don't have it on CD, but I do have a live version of "Soak Up the Sun." This is her live at the Ryman. If you can find this, and you like Sheryl Crow, this is fantastic. It's 4 LP. And it's pretty cheap, and it got all the hits on here, and it's all very, very good live. And there's some pretty good guests on here. Jason Isbell's on here, Stevie Nicks, Maren Morris, Waddy Wachtel, Emmylou Harris, Brandi Carlile. Yeah, this is really, really, really good live record. And it's a gatefold, so we'll show the gatefold there. There you go. It's got some pictures and I believe it's got where all the songs are from, actually, because some of this is from the Ryman, and some of this is from some other live shows around that time. So a very reasonably priced 4 LP set. This is fantastic stuff. So,
man, that would have been so amazing in that venue to see that show.
Oh,
right? I mean,
absolutely.
That venue alone, I think, I've never been, but it is a place that a guy needs to get to, I think, at least once in life, regardless of a country fan or not.
Right.
But yeah, man, that show, that would have just been unbelievable. That would have been so fantastic.
Yep. So Soak Up the Sun. Love it.
Nice.
Chris is saying, I want Wildflowers by Sheryl Crow on vinyl. I want a lot of Sheryl Crow's albums on vinyl. It would be nice if Globe Sessions would come out. That'd be great. But I think it's another one of those issues with licensing, I think, is probably the deal. So, okay, Daryl.
All right. So my last pick, I talked about yacht rock. I'm going to go to a time. I think some people consider these guys yacht rock to a degree, or at least this song, but it's probably a predecessor of yacht rock. It's not for everyone unless you really like the mellowness of this early 70s stuff. But I've always liked Seals and Crofts. Summer Breeze. It's a great song. Like I said, it's not for everyone, but this one here, just my mom isn't I've talked about my mom. She listens to music and whatnot, but she wasn't a big music buff like my dad was. And but this right here was an album my mom used to listen to all the time. So it reminds me of my mom and just that mellow stuff. Not only that, but it is a gatefold, which is pretty cool with all the lyrics on the inside.
Yeah.
So don't see that, and then there they are on the back, and it's almost like a pastel-y watercolor, water paint kind of art on there. So they were ahead of their time for yacht rock, I guess. But Summer Breeze, I mean, once again, do you want to be in a heat wave? Do you want to be in the freezing cold, or do you want to be when it's 20 degrees and nice and just the breeze is going and it's just nice? And I think that's my idea of a summer. I can handle about 25 Celsius. That's about as high as I'll go. I can't stand it when it's anything lower or higher than that. But there we go. Seals and Crofts, Summer Breeze, and their pastel-y pre-yacht rock era.
That's certainly one that instantly came to mind. That's a staple of when you hear the word summer and you're talking about songs. That one would be right up there for sure. So that's cool. Good.
Yep.
All right.
Isley Brothers apparently did a great version of Summer Breeze. I didn't know that.
Yeah, cool. that would be good.
Yeah,
for sure. Chris is asking, did Cheryl ever do an MTV Unplugged? I had to Google it. Yes, she did. In 1995, it was recorded in Brooklyn. Has never been released as an album. So there are bootlegs of it out there. So.
Somewhere at some point, but the money would just never happen. The logistics to do a box set of the MTV Unplugs. I mean, it would be massive and
Couldn't
just
happen.
Phenomenal dollars. But to get everybody's, I mean, it's a pipe dream, but it'd be nice to see at some point.
Yeah, absolutely. That would be right up there on a wish list for me of having an online archive of watching any episode of Austin City Limits that you could ever want to watch. That would be incredible too.
Yeah.
There are some, but it's not complete. So
no, that's right.
So
I did watch Austin Powers International Man of Mystery the other night.
That's close enough.
Yeah. Actually, I watched all three of them in a row. I had nothing better to do, so I started and I watched all three.
Okay. Joe.
All right. Okay, up next, I talked a little bit about the blues. I'm going to stick with the blues. And it's going to be B.B. King from the album Guess Who? And it is his rendition of Summer in the City. Yes, that's Summer in the City. Hot Times, Summer in the City by Lighthouse, right? Is that right? I think that's right.
No, it was
Love and Spoonful, I think.
Love and Spoonful. Yeah, there you go. There you go. But it is the same. And do we know the name of his guitar? Anybody? Lucille, exactly. I have heard the story. I've heard it a couple of times. And I'll tell it real quick. No, I won't, because I won't do it justice. Go and seek out the story of why he named his guitar Lucille. And I think it's true because I think like if it revolves around a bar, that's the story that I've heard a couple of times. And I think he has confirmed that, yes, that's why I called my guitar Lucille. But B.B. King, I'm not sure, not necessarily a guy you think of when you think of Summer Tunes, but his version of Summer in the City. And I like BB. He's always good. Never saw him, which is one of my regrets and he was around all the time. And it was just, oh, I'll go next time. I'll go next time. And then there wasn't a next time. But yeah, that was a regret. I have no idea why the hell I didn't just go. And then I don't know why I didn't go every friggin' time, because I would have just loved it every time. But so BB King.
Let's see here. Chris, are you drinking too much tonight? That doesn't make sense. Can I imagine CNN TV? What? That makes no sense.
Nope.
Can you imagine if MTV released Unplugged Greatest Hits? Maybe that's what you're trying to say. Yeah, that would be cool. But again, I don't think that's ever going to happen because of licensing and all that stuff. Joe, Ryan wants to know, what's the album on the bottom right that you've got there?
The bottom right? That one?
That one.
Would that be the bottom right for everybody?
The girl at the piano.
Yeah, it's Blossom Dearie. It's one that I think might surprise people being in my collection, but kind of a 40s female artist. Really, really good, actually. I highly recommend. I've got a couple of them. There was a lady, I bought some records from her, and she goes, you know what, you should take these too. I bet you'll like these. And I do, and it's really good. This is a reissue of it, but yeah, Blossom Dearie. Piano, vocals, really nice. Give it a shot. YouTuber, I guess, or go and seek her out, because you can find her. She's not outrageously priced. It's good stuff. So
cool. Record Hound is saying BB King had several Lucille's. He'd sit a new Lucille on stage to learn from the soon-to-be retired Lucille. I love that. That's awesome.
I thought it was 6. That is probably wrong, because that doesn't sound. Well, yeah, it could be enough. I mean, it's not like guitars wear out, but he just played and played and played and played that guitar. But that's awesome. I had never heard that.
That's cool.
Sit here and learn. That's fantastic.
I love that, because you know, musicians say guitars have a certain personality to them, and I can, you know, I'm not a great guitar player, but you know, my go-to is my 78 Telly that you can never see because my stupid head is in the way. But that thing is 48 years old, and I kind of feel like it's got a little bit of something in it, you know, because it's been played by a lot of people who are better than I am. So Chris is saying, after that comment, he better go to bed. Good night, gentlemen. It's been a pleasure again, Rob. I will watch on replay tomorrow. Sounds good, man. Always love when you join us, and always love when I get to do stuff with you over on your channel. So I'm sure we'll talk tomorrow, as we often do. So good night, man.
Thanks, Chris. Good night, sir.
Okay. That makes it my turn again, yeah?
It does, yep.
I think so. Okay, what am I going to show? Okay, I'm going to show this. This is an album that you guys will know very, very well, and I don't need to explain to you guys why I'm showing this. Blue Radio's 5 Days in July. It's called 5 Days in July because it was recorded over 5 days in July. But I think this is a quintessential Canadian summer album for the most part. It is an acoustic album, and it, you know, we've probably all been somewhere when someone has had an acoustic guitar around a campfire and something off of this album gets played. It's usually hasn't hit me yet.
Yeah.
But there's just something about this that has a summertime feel to it, because I think of how it was recorded. I think that's part of it. It was recorded at Greg Keeler's farm. It's recorded. His house is also a recording studio. It's called Lost Cause Studios. And the band just moved in for a week, and all their friends came, and there was a mobile recording unit, and they recorded this album. And, you know, friends would come in and out of the house in the middle of recording, and that was fine. And, you know, if you listen carefully, you know, you hear dog bark here and there, and they just wanted that atmosphere of just like a summer get together. And that's what this album has the feel of. And I know both of you guys have heard it, and I think I'm probably not far off saying that that's kind of the feels you get listening to this.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you can imagine yourself sitting around the campfire, campfire's going, the s'mores are going, and you're listening to that song. It's very, very and Canadian, not just because it is Canadian, but you know, you're in the middle of in the middle of the woods in somewhere in near Lake Ontario, as they say.
There's definitely some summer makeout music on there for sure, because I remember that high school days.
Yes. Should I share a story that I know about this record?
Sure.
Because I have a lot of inside information about this band, and I won't get in trouble for sharing this one. There's a song called Photograph, which is about Greg going to Pyramid Lake with his girlfriend, doing some drugs and allegedly seeing some UFOs.
Yeah.
I can tell you that I know for a fact that never happened. It is a myth. Greg has never been to Pyramid Lake, which it's out in Alberta, I believe, somewhere northern Alberta in the Rockies, I think. He's never been there. And the girl that is in that song lived in New York City. So this is nothing, it never actually happened, but he does such a great job of painting that image of, watching the stars on a summer night. But I can tell you, I know for a fact that event never happened. A lot of other stories about this band I'm not allowed to tell you, but I can tell you that one.
That one you can tell us, yeah.
Gatefold,
you didn't show the gatefold.
Oh, sorry. Yep.
Because I don't know if there you go. Very nice.
There you go.
That's at the lake, right?
Or hold on. I got there's a sleeve in here. Sorry. There you go. There's the actual gatefold right there. So that's the lineup of the band in 1993 when this was recorded. So this is the it's been pressed on vinyl 2 times. This is the deluxe reissue from a couple of years ago. And how's that for a record? Woo!
Yeah.
Orange.
Very nice.
So there you go.
Very nice. And if you've got records that are super nice like that, colored ones, you want to make sure they come in a very well protective sleeve. And there's a great place to get them from. Yeah, I don't know if you know, and it looks like maybe you do, because that looks like that came from vinylstoragesolutions.ca. I think that's probably where that came from.
I think it's quite possible. Yeah. If I look, vinyl storage. So where would you go again to get that, Joe?
So you go to vinylstoragesolutions.ca, and then you can pick from, I don't know, is that a 1 mil or a 2 mil or a 3 mil?
This is the 1 mil version.
Yeah, so you got lots of different versions you can choose from, and then after you've decided, you pick yourself up some outer sleeves and some gatefold sleeves. Then you use the promo code at the end, Northern 10. You get 10% off. It's $5 flat rate shipping.
Right.
You just have to. You just have to use them.
You can even scan the QR code on the screen just to
right
take
there.
Right,
just do that exactly while you're here.
There you go. Perfect. It's almost like we planned to do this every week, eh, Joe?
Yeah, just never quite sure where, and it hit me. It had hit me yet, actually, that was the time to do it.
I knew you were going to go there with that.
Yeah.
Okay, getting back on the horse then. Daryl.
All right. So when I think summertime, I think road trips, and I think driving in my car in the nice weather. And for me, I think the quintessential, at least from a Canadian perspective, I don't know about you guys, although I think we've talked about this before. I think this is the worst of the 2 covers. But Life is a Highway, Tom Cochrane's Mad Mad World, is a fantastic album for road tripping.
Amen.
A lot of great songs, including Sinking Like a Sunset, which is actually my favorite Tom Cochrane song. But Life is a Highway is a great song. There is a reason, even though it was done by Rascal Flatts, which I am okay with that version, but I'd rather listen to Tom Cochrane one. But I mean, they put it in the movie Cars for a reason. It's a fantastic, pump you up, get you ready for the summer, go on a trip, drive around and listen to the whole flipping album, because it's that awesome. And I mean, I could promote that album all day. We've talked about albums that don't have a bad song on them. In my opinion, this one doesn't. This one has every song on this is amazing. And not only that, if you haven't been aware, Rob had an amazing story about Tom Cochrane this past year.
It did.
And I don't know if that's coming up or not, but
it's not, because I figured you'd probably show it. I met him this past fall, and talk about meeting your hero, right? You say you shouldn't. He's one of my heroes, and he was the most amazing encounter I could imagine. I spent about 40 minutes with him, me and a couple other guys, and he was just the sweetest man. I showed him a video of my son when he was like 4, playing Life is a Highway on the ukulele. Not playing, but you know where I'm going. And Tom was moved by that and autographed the picture, and he said, "I want you to give this to my son," and it hangs in his room. And it was just an incredible experience. My favorite musical highlight whatsoever. But that album, Mad Mad World, were you aware, Daryl, that went 5 times platinum? And I know that because I know that because I actually have one of the CRIA awards, which is our governing body in Canada, the Canadian Recording Industry Association. This is the award that they give out. This was presented to HMV Canada, which is our music retailer that no longer exists. But this was the award given to celebrate the quintuple platinum of that album. So this isn't one of these cheesy pieces of shit you see in the grocery store that you bid on it for $100. This is an actual certified record award. So the only one that I own.
And look, compare the two covers. There's no doubt that is the superior cover right there.
Your cover.
I'm not a huge fan of this one.
What? No, I
like the other one.
No, I hate this cover. It looks terrible. Looks terrible. The anniversary one that you've got is a much better cover. So,
sticking with Tom Cochrane though. I mean, I don't have it on album, but I could have went with Big League or any of those songs. Yeah, it's not Going to the Beach or The Summertime, but Big League is obviously based on
hockey,
baseball and sports and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it just screams summertime to me. Cruising in your car, just listening to that stuff is phenomenal.
Yep.
Look who's here. Yeah.
Oh, Richard. What did you miss? You missed a lot, man.
Yeah.
I'm not joking, Richard, when I say go back and watch this tomorrow, because we all know that Joe's favorite song is Summer of '69. And so obviously I mentioned that. And I showed every Bryan Adams record or CD that song is on. So that's good for a laugh. Go back and check that out tomorrow.
Yeah, for sure.
Joe was beyond thrilled.
I was jealous, in fact.
I know you were. Record now never got Mad Mad World, but did get a 45 of Life is a Highway. And you know what? I don't know if I've ever said Life is a Highway. In that video, Tom's playing a 72 Telecaster Custom, and I loved that guitar, and I loved the sound of it. And that's one of the reasons that the first guitar I ever owned and still own is Telecasters. My first Telecaster is actually that one right there, which I bought 30 years ago. But because Tom Cochrane I don't have a Telecaster Custom. I have a Telecaster Deluxe, my black one and the white one right there. Those are both Deluxes. I don't have a 72 Custom, but he's the reason that I play a Telecaster. So not that anyone gives a shit, but I'm just telling you. So, yes, that's how hard I was laughing too when I thought of the idea last night. Daydream Vinyl, welcome.
Hey.
Welcome.
Hello.
Nice to see you.
Okay. It's Joe's turn, right?
Yeah. Quick before
I got to go say goodnight to the kids, so I'll be back in 1 second, Joe.
Okay. So
talk amongst yourselves.
Okay. Just before I get to my next one that fits with this, when you mentioned not a bad song on the album, I decided I listened to the greatest album ever last night. And I know that's a stretch and it's not really true, but still, I listened to this because it was in that collection I bought. And for those that don't know or off the top of your head, so Ramble Tamble, but before you accuse me, it's a cover, but still, Traveling Band, Ooby Dooby, which is a fantastic, fun song, Looking Out My Back Door, Run Through the Jungle, that's side one. And then Up Around the Bend, My Baby Left Me, Who'll Stop the Rain, I Heard It Through the Grapevine, and As Long as I Can See the Light. That's one friggin' album. That's not a greatest hits. That's one album. And this is at the endish of their career. This was in 70s. So they did those 3 in 1969, and then they still had all of this in them. I mean, I knew all that, but it was one that I put on to listen to last night and went, holy shit, it just kept going. It just kept going. And even the deeper cuts were so crazy good. But
it's funny that you're showing that, because my next one, when it comes back to me, is another one of these situations where we've all talked about this next album, and it's the same thing. There's not really there's one on here that I think is misplaced,
yeah.
but it's
Yeah.
I mean, these greatest hits albums or perfect albums. I mean, definitely. I mean, I haven't heard some of the songs in Cosmos Factory, but I've heard it's just top to bottom.
Yeah.
Not a bad album.
You think about it, even if you stretch it out to 24 months, the amount of work that they put out in that 2-year period between the 3 and 69 and that album, it's unbelievable. And then they, of course, couldn't get along. So, but Fogerty's still out there doing, which is great. So, but back to the topic at hand. I went with either Summer or I went with Heat, and I chose to go with one of my favorite female singers. We talk about Linda all the time, but I really like Pat as well. And her and Neil are still playing shows, doing shows together. Finally got inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which, for what that's worth, I'm glad for them. Whether they give a rat's ass or not, I don't know if being in there means something or doesn't mean something, but it was nice for them to get the recognition, because I've always enjoyed Pat. I haven't seen them for a long, long time. And I'm not 100% that I did back in the day, but I'm pretty sure like around this album. But just great stuff on here. Heartbreaker, I Need a Lover, which is her fantastic version. I like John Mellencamp's, John Cougar Mellencamp's actually when he did that. But Rated X, written by Nick Gilder, partly anyway, is on here. She does a great job on that. And so in the heat of the night, which is also a really good song as well, the title track. So not Summer, but Heat this time I went with. And like I said, Pat's always been one of my favorites. And not just because she's a cutie, but she also has a fantastic voice. Had a lot of great people along with her. Like I said, Neil, her husband, guitar player, they've been together since back in the day. I don't know if I think I don't know. We don't talk about her a lot, but I assume you're a fan.
I think it's just it, Joe. I think she's completely underrated.
Yeah.
Rob was talking about Linda Ronstadt earlier. Pat Benatar is another one. She's completely underrated.
Yeah. We get the
Patti Smythe, I think, is another one. Absolutely underrated.
We get the pop stars that get huge, right? The Madonnas, the Lady Gagas, who I'm a big fan of, but the Chapel Roans and the Sabrina Carpenters and that. But Hart and Pat Benatar and Joan Jett and all of those, there's lots of recognition for them. There's not the mass appeal, but and we always talk about Linda, but yeah, I was just saying, Rob, mine was In the Heat of the Night by Pat Benatar, but again, another fantastic female artist that a lot of people have respect for. But again, there's probably a lot of people that you'd say Pat Benatar and they'd go, who? Right? Yeah. Unfortunately, but
yep, agreed. So, I got to cut in here with a comment. We need to find out more. Your record store locally still has pastures? Where are you located, man? I'm sorry if I don't remember.
He's in Saskatoon, actually.
That's too far for me to drive.
Yeah. You know what, though? We'll work something out. If you can grab it, I'll send it with something else that's coming, right? I'll do that. We can do that.
Oh, boy.
So, yeah.
Huh.
I can't get it. I continued to look. Like I thought at some point maybe I'd be able to, but I couldn't get it. But if they've still got it, probably at
Yeah. Wow. Amazing. Okay. So I guess it's my turn then again, right? Sorry, I missed that, Joe. I just needed to say goodnight to my son and
no, not at all.
Shoot me an email, northernrevolutions@gmail.com, and we'll figure something out.
Yeah, good.
Awesome.
Vinyl Diner. That's the place I was trying to think of. Maybe Vinyl Diner. It's a pretty good shop in Saskatoon. So
cool.
Yeah.
Okay, what am I going to show? Ooh, do I go there? Maybe. No. Okay. I'm going to do a twofer. Yeah, I'm going to do twofer. Okay, here we go. Let's hit this button and then this button, and then here we go. Okay. This is a twofer because it makes you think of the same thing, but they're not the same thing. So we're going to go here first. That's a very vague introduction, wasn't it?
It was, but that's okay. I followed along.
What the hell is he talking? It'll make sense in a moment.
Yeah.
John Fogerty, center field. Baseball, summer.
Yep.
Right? I mean, I love baseball. And, I mean, we could talk about these guys. They're doing all right.
They are.
I mean, for me, baseball is synonymous with summer. You know, I think of all my summer as a childhood, all of my childhood summers. Let's go that way. And the first thing that pops into my mind is me and my grandpa listening to the Jays on the radio. Like that is my most prevalent childhood memory. So Center Field is a song about baseball. And I know it's hard to tell on the cover, but there is a sort of old-timey baseball glove on here. And, there's a hat and some baseball guys on the back. Great song. I'm a big Fogerty fan anyway, but Center Field, I think maybe that was his biggest solo hit, I think, maybe.
Yeah, probably.
So Center Field, baseball.
That's a killer album too.
Oh,
yeah. I heard it on the radio, Rock and Roll Girls, the whole thing is
fantastic. I agree.
Yeah.
So when you think of baseball, a term often referred to people who play baseball are referred to as the Boys of Summer. So this asshat's album called Building the Perfect Beast has his big hit on here, The Boys of Summer, which is not about baseball. It's not about baseball at all. This is a song, it's I guess I would say it's a song of unrequited love, right? He's the protagonist in the song, sort of is longing for this girl, and it's kind of about the impending end of summer, and he's basically saying, I'll still be here for you after the boys of summer have gone. So when all the the summer romance is over, or all the guys have left town to go back to their normal lives or whatever, I'm still going to be here. That's what the song is about. But I think there's something sort of I think we can all connect with that emotion about the end of summer, right? It's kind of, I think for a lot of people, summer's always, I think a lot of people's favorite seasons because you're not in school. And, I think this maybe when some of our best memories are created, and there's something bittersweet about the end of summer. I love the fall, but then you go, God damn it, winter's coming, right? So there's something sort of tragically final about the end of summer, but there's also something bitterly nostalgic, and I'm maybe waxing more poetically than I should for this idiot, but I like the song. So Boys of Summer, nothing to do with baseball, but at the end of summer.
We'll give all the credit to Mike Campbell. Wasn't Mike part of that one? I think.
Yeah, he wrote it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And then, and what I remember, correct me if I'm wrong or if you've heard, I thought it all started. The impetus was the Deadhead sticker on a Cadillac that he actually saw that, and that's where I don't know if that's the story that I remember or not.
The story I heard is that Mike Campbell was playing around with some electronic looping machine or something, and programmed in this kind of like synth riff or something. And it's like, oh, this is something, and then started to build a song around it, is cool. What I heard.
Yeah. Don's a dumbass, but there's a lot of good music from that dumbass. So
we honestly should do a Dickheads episode, I think.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we could.
Absolutely should.
Yeah.
Classic album. Rockies won the game that Richard went to. Yeah, I saw the pictures on Facebook, man. That's awesome. I have not been to a game in a very long time, and I need to go. But
Rockies are in the toughest division in baseball too. I mean, the Jays division is very hard, but the Rockies have the Dodgers, the Giants, and the Padres right now, which are the top 3 teams, I think, right? Or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, the Jays and the Rays and the Yankees and the Sox, obviously that, man. Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, they are doing good. Your quick, brief comment. They are doing okay. They let one get away against the White Sox, but other than that,
my Jays went on quite a tear there for a while. They won like 15 of 20 games, something ridiculous. It was good to see. They're still in the hunt, like they're still in, only a couple games back in New York. So still lots of season left. So
that's right.
To be fair, much of center field is a summer album. Yeah, that's true. It actually is. I mean, it's the track listing's not on there, but yes, I just meant sort of most folks will connect with at least the song Center Field, so which was my first thought. And then I thought about the rest of the record. You're right. So good point. You're more articulate than I am. Thank you. Okay. Daryl.
Okay. All right. So my last album I said was a perfect album. That was the Tom Cochrane one. And I talked about road trip and road tripping music. I could have done it as a twofer, but I chose not to. This next album, we've talked about this before, where some people consider this one in full a perfect album. Me, on one of our previous shows, to me, there's one song that I think is misplaced on this, but other than that, it's a perfect album, and I think it's great for, once again, road tripping. You talk about Bruce Springsteen, we talk about The Boss. Born in the USA album is fantastic, and I don't know what it is. To me, this is a summer album. It's like one of those working man albums where guys are working in the factories and stuff like that, and they want to get out for the summer, and they're sweating their balls off in some of these songs. Darlington County, Working on the Highway. I'm on Fire is a classic heat song, I guess you would say. And then, of course, the ripped jeans and the baseball hat on the pants there. I mean, and this doesn't scream summer, or at least road tripping music. I mean, I don't know what does, because the only song, like I said, the only song for me on this that's out of place to me is Downbound Train. I don't know what it is. There's just something about that song that I don't like, but it's pretty much a perfect album.
I wonder, and I wondered about this, and I thought about showing it, but I also wonder if, Summer or Born in the USA is not the patriotic anthem that a lot of people think it is. It's a Vietnam War protest song, but because of how it's misconstrued often as Merca, right? And you've got the it's called Born. The album's called Born in the USA, and the flag in the background. I have to wonder too if there's sort of the subliminal. You connect that with the album being patriotic, and you think of July the 4th, and you think of fireworks and all that other stuff. Yeah. So I almost wonder if the package as a whole kind of subliminally,
it's almost intentional to be. It's almost intentional. Yeah. To be played like you said, in the summertime, July the 4th, that patriotism thing. And there's like Born in the USA isn't the only one on there that's like patriotic, go get them. There's a lot of rockin' tunes that are on there. Geez, give me 1 second to put it on the floor here. Like Glory Days, for example, is a good example of something like that. Or My Hometown. Those are like sitting there drinking a beer, or sitting there with your friends, and they just come on and make you feel good. No matter what time of the year, but in the summer particularly, right? You drive, like I said, driving in your car, and it comes on the radio, and I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I'm likely to get a speeding ticket listening to that album.
Yeah, sometimes.
No, it's true. It does have a certain mood to it, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
So when I was putting my stuff together, I decided I was going to go on the nose and go either summer and or go heat. But if I wouldn't have, Racing in the Streets from Dark Side would be for me is an ultimate song. Obviously, out
Sure.
drag racing with your girl, all of that. Like if you ever did a true video about what's in my mind listening to that song, that would be a complete summertime song as well. So yeah,
We haven't shown it yet, Richard, but someone mentioned it in the comments. I think it was Trevor before he logged off to go to bed, saying that was his summer album. So
yep. Trevor's got to get up at Trevor gets up as late as you and I go to bed, I think.
Yes,
doesn't he?
I think so.
Something like that. Yeah. He's
so.
up really early.
I'm on holidays this week, so I'll probably go to bed like 3 a.m., something like that.
Perfect. I don't start watching movies till like 11 or 12 sometimes. But anyway.
Yeah, exactly. I'm with you.
Yeah.
Okay, Joe.
All right.
Show us something cool.
A little
hot,
curveball.
actually.
We're just talking about baseball and stuff. So a little curveball. It's not a song with summer in the title, but it is Henry Lee Summer. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with. He's kind of one-hit wondery, right? Daryl,
I have that album, and I almost considered it.
Yeah. Then I've got a couple. I don't know if there's more than two, and I've got both of them. I just chose to go with this one, and I listened to it today. It's a good listen. It put me in the mind a little bit of some Hall & Oates, but good Hall & Oates, not shitty Hall & Oates. And I have a defining line for my Hall & Oates. But it's good. And he was big back in the day. As I've mentioned before, I used to DJ and it was all videos. And, he had good videos and there was cute girls in them. And again, it was really summer. So he kind of played that up. He doesn't have anything per se that is a summery song on here, but I wish I had a girl, hands on the radio. But yeah, it's good stuff. And this is even a promo copy. It says copy on loan only, remains property of CBS. So I stole it from the Columbia broadcast stations.
So if Joe's not here next week, everybody, we know where he is. He's in the
That's
clink.
right. Yes. They put me in jail. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, a little different, but good stuff. Again, I hadn't listened to it for a while. I don't know if you've listened to it recently, Daryl, or not, but it's good. I enjoyed it this afternoon.
No, but the song "If I Had a Girl" is a fantastic song.
Yeah,
and I think he does another song on a different album. I think it was called "Hey Baby" or something like that. It was pretty good.
Yeah. He didn't have. Yeah. He wasn't massive by any means, but he had a couple of good. Brought out at the right time, had the right look, kind of played well on MTV.
I had read that after those albums, he kind of went into some hard times. I don't know what ever happened to the guy.
Possibly,
he just kind of disappeared.
Yeah. He was good. He kind of reminds me a little bit. I've mentioned before. Now I'm going to forget his name. Good Lord. Anyway, I'll think about it. But the guy from Australia, Jimmy Barnes, he reminds me a little of Jimmy Barnes, that style, kind of. But good stuff. I enjoyed it. It's probably that might be the last time it goes on for a while, but I enjoyed listening to it this afternoon. So yeah.
Oh, it is good stuff.
Yep.
Okay. My turn. Is it my turn?
It is your turn.
Yep. No.
Yeah. I was going last. You went first this time.
All right. You're up. This is why I have co-hosts, because I can't remember 5 minutes ago. Okay. I'm gonna do two again because I can. So, and both of these thematically are summer, I think. I don't know if there's anyone that gives you more summer feels than Bob Marley. Right?
Yeah.
Too bad we couldn't have Curtis on here, the Bob Marley expert. But reggae, Jamaica, sunshine, tropical. This just drips summer. I mean, I don't think there's anything on here that's actually remotely summer about summer, but you feel summer when you listen to this. Am I right?
Yeah,
for sure.
So this is Legend, which is a greatest hits. Too bad Chris isn't on here. I'm not a big Marley fan. This is the only one I need. And there's the gatefold with some stuff in it.
A lot of pictures. Yeah.
A lot of pictures. So
such a fantastic album. Of course, it is a greatest hits, but
yeah,
you can't listen to that album, I don't think, and be in a bad mood. right?
Right.
Which again is another summertime thing, right? We're always in a much better mood in the middle of July than we are in the middle of January. So,
Right. Especially if
I had
you're
a high school. I
Canadian.
had a high school history teacher. Speaking of being in a good mood, he was the kind of high school, you know. I'll throw on some tunes if you guys are behaving and you guys are in a good mood today. And that was the one that he always went to. He had that on. I think he had this cabinet. And he had like a CD player and a cassette player in it, and he would throw on that Bob Marley Legends. That's the only reason I even knew who Bob Marley is, and it's fantastic. And I agree with you, Rob. It's the only Bob Marley anybody needs. The whole
Right.
thing is killer.
My wife and son wore me down on it because they would play it in the car all the time. And I was just like, I'm not a Bob Marley fan. Not a Bob Marley fan. And the more that I was subjected to it, I went, this isn't so bad. This isn't so bad. And then, I don't know, 2 years ago when I was record shopping with Brian from Member Out of Grobot and Chris from Stylus Meets Vinyl in Toronto, I saw this used and it's barely been played. It was like, I don't know, $15. I'm like, well, shit, I've heard this damn record enough. I probably should own it. So,
well, yeah, and it's protest stuff, and but then it's also about love and happy things and good things, and the things we need more in our life. Not the protest part, but the protesting, the dumbasses, the orange people, and things like that. So,
exactly. Yeah. I'm going to show one more because I said I was going to do a twofer. So thematically, this is another summer record because when you think of music and the summer, pretty hard not to think of Woodstock.
Yep.
Right. I mean, the greatest concert that ever was in August of what the hell year was that, Joe? 69?
69, yeah, I believe 69? So. Yeah, because there was Woodstock 99 was the shit shows. Right. Literally. Well, all of them were, but anyway, yeah.
That's a good documentary on Netflix, by the way.
That's a great documentary. One. Yeah.
Did you guys watch the new Netflix documentary that came out yesterday about the poop cruise? That's fantastic.
Woo. Really?
Poop cruise.
Okay.
Poop cruise. Yeah. All right, so this is the soundtrack to Woodstock 3 LP. It's got it's got everything on it that you need, right? All of the stuff that is always the most memorable performances of Woodstock. So it's this is not a gatefold. This is a trifold.
Yep.
I don't know if I could show that because there's a naked person in there. So let me see.
There is. Yep. There's a couple, isn't there?
Yes.
There you go.
There we go.
Speaking of peace and love and all that good stuff, and yeah.
So there you go. I think you could argue that's a summer album. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. I can't wrap my head around that whole thing. I mean, I can picture it, but to have been there for that whole thing at that time frame would have just been like, oh my God, right? Like there's big festivals now, but it wouldn't be the same. It's not the same. And I've been to some, not that many, like not 500,000 people, but it just wouldn't have been the same as everything that was going on at that point. So,
breaking news.
What's funny is the Woodstock night. So Woodstock 99 was a complete disaster where they friggin' burned everything and all that. But Woodstock 94, I remember I was in grade 10, I think it was, and I had the CD, the 2 CD disc set and all that kind of stuff. And on YouTube, you can actually watch the entire performance because they had a VHS tape and somebody's uploaded or whatever. And it's so funny that, and I'll bet you Woodstock 69 was the same way. You watch the first day and everybody is, all happy and everything. The weather is nice and there's lots of food and lots of toilets and all that kind of stuff. And by the third day, everybody is soaking wet. It's mud, pure rain, baked out of their minds.
Yeah.
And even the bands, like I don't know if you've seen the 9 Inch Nails one, but I mean, Trent Reznor is just, they're just covered. Like people are throwing mud balls at them and everything at their guitars. And it's just insane.
Yeah.
But Woodstock 69 is the same way, just crazy. And I mean, in the 60s, it wasn't that one. What was the one? Was it the Rolling Stones concert where they hired the flipping Hells Angels to
that was
the bodyguards or whatever?
Altamont. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's just crazy.
Crazy.
So our
Okay.
friend Tim has a story by the looks of it.
We got to talk about this. So Tim went to see the Wallflowers, and apparently he tried to get an autograph, and Jacob Dylan called him eBay scum. Well, Tim, I hope you told him to go F himself sideways. What a dick.
Yeah, that sucks. Yeah. I mean, just say no, right? I mean, if you don't want to sign stuff, just say no and move along. But
did you tell him you're famous on YouTube? Like,
that's great. Yeah.
Did
Yeah.
you tell him that his dad sounds like a cheese grater?
Right? If you're, you know what? I have a problem with celebrities who are assholes, because it's like, you know what? You're a famous person because people consume the art that you create. And I think it's part of the job for you to be nice to the fans. And if someone asks you for an autograph, give them an autograph. Don't be an asshole about it. I had a celebrity encounter like that. I met someone, and it was a woman, and she was an absolute bitch. And I told her that she was a bitch after she was a bitch. Don't be like that. You're famous because people adore you. If we don't adore you, guess what? You're not famous anymore. So don't be a dick about it. So yes, officially, Jacob Dylan is now on the dickhead list. And when we do an episode about dickheads, I promise you, Tim, you're going to be on that episode and you're going to lead with that story.
There you go.
What a wanker. I'm sorry that happened, man. That sucks.
Yeah, that's too bad. Because, I mean, I talked about it. I really like the show, so it kind of sucks. Like I said, it's different just saying no. That's a totally different way of being a little bit of a dick. But I can understand that, no, I've done this. I'm good for today, circumstances. But, to do that, that's completely different. So
he said, get the picture authenticated yourself. What an ass. Okay. We're gonna do in the next few weeks, we're gonna do the Wankers episode for sure.
Yeah. There you go.
Man, I'm sorry that happened, Tim. That sucks, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
Damn. Okay. Daryl's turn, right?
Yep.
Okay. Boom.
All right. So when I think of summertime, one of the things, I mean, I can do it while I'm up here in the wintertime. It's just I don't like freezing my balls off to go outside and barbecue. I love barbecuing. Barbecuing is one of my favorite things to do when it's nice out. And there is a song on the North Atlantic Squadron album by Stompin' Tom called Backyardin'. And Backyardin's a fantastic track. I think the lines go something like, my brother used to play this all the time. I think it goes, backyardin', backyardin'. That's a chit-chat party in the garden. Just a barbecue with a friend or two where you don't give a blank, beg your pardon, that's backyardin'. And it's just, that to me is the epitome of summer. Going outside, barbecuing a steak, or burgers or pork, whatever you want to barbecue, and just have a good time. And I mean, I don't know what else to say. I mean, this is a funny album. I mean, the North Atlantic Squadron is a hilarious song. Jack of Many Trades is a funny song. But Backyardin' pretty much sums up summer, at least in that respect. My video, I don't want to talk about my video really that dropped this morning. We'll probably talk about it later. But one of the types of books I like to read are cookbooks, and I've got tons of barbecuing cookbooks. I wish I owned a smoker because I like experimenting with stuff like that too. Mm-hmm. And so summertime, that's what it is to me, is just steak and barbecue and just having a good time. So Stompin' Tom, he's all about a good time, and so is Backyardin'.
I love whenever we show Stompin' Tom on here. I love it. I have
to listen to that tomorrow because that's one of the 5. I think that was one of the 5 that we got in. You were gone. I bought a little collection while you were gone, and there was 5 still in the shrink, not open. They were open, but they were still in the shrink pristine Stompin' Toms, including his Christmas album. So
nice.
Yeah,
but not
that one might be one of them.
I think so. I think so.
But not the 2 Stompin' Tom albums I'm looking for.
No, that's right. And not the one with the hockey song on it. But anyway.
Right. Exactly. Devin, I got your email, man. Thank you. When we're done the live stream here, I'll respond, and I'll loop Joe in on this as well, and maybe we can find a a way to make this happen. But yes,
Yeah.
I will take you up on your offer. If they still have passengers, I'll send you transfer, and we'll find a way to get it to Joe, because Joe's got some stuff coming to me shortly
Yeah.
anyway. So
Yeah.
we'll sort the logistics out of that. I'll send you an email when we're done here tonight. Thank you. Appreciate that. Ian Ashbury from the Cult can be the same way. Richard's saying he can be an ass on stage as well. And Kim Mitchell was like that. Interesting.
Yeah, I
Walked
wouldn't have
right
thought
past,
that.
looked away. Huh.
Maybe a bad day. Maybe given the benefit of the doubt. I mean, some guys it's a pattern. Doesn't seem like that with Kim, but maybe.
And when Daryl was talking about barbecue, I couldn't help but think before this comment popped up, Kim Mitchell, patio lanterns.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Our American friends are going, what the hell are they talking about? Yeah. Okay. Joe.
All right. It's not patio lanterns, but what the heck? He was in the pile, but he moved to the front because we were talking about him. This is the in between leaving Max Webster and the first full-blown solo album. It's got Kids in Action. It's got Misdemeanor, which is a killer song. I love that song by Kim Mitchell. But it's got Big Best Summer on it. So Kim Mitchell, to me, is a summertime kind of a guy because of songs like Patio Lanterns, and just he is very much the epitome. And he always seems to, for a while when he was in his heyday, he always had a big song that was out in the summer and things like that. Rockland, Wonderland, all that stuff. So yeah, good stuff. That's when Kim had we all had hair at one point. That's where Kim had hair. I don't know how much he's got under the hat, but he had the he had the mullet going on for sure. But saw him last year before. Still sounds really fantastic. Hopefully the anomaly, that Record Hound is talking about, that maybe he was just an asshole that day, because he doesn't come across that way. But you never know. I mean, I've never walked up to him and asked him for something. But again, this is just the EP in between Max Webster days and then the first solo album, and it's just good stuff. And Misdemeanor is a great song. If you haven't ever heard Misdemeanor, look that up. But Big Best Summer as well. So there's another one. And you know what? Because we're going to run out of time, I'm just going to do another one, because I got another one, Heat, and I went with the Romantics and In Heat. I don't know if you guys have listened to this one recently, but of course, Talking in Your Sleep, right, is the big song. And but it's really good. It's really good, actually. I mean, it's not quite rockabilly as far as the Stray Cats go. It's power poppy more than anything. I guess it would probably really fall into that category. But it's another one that I put on and listened to today. And obviously, the big hit was Talking in Your Sleep. But good stuff, really good. Bend Over, Shake a Tail Feather, a cover of that. But You Got Me Where You Want Me and Rock You Up, and yeah, so it's good stuff. So there you go. You've got your summertime heat in my little scheme this evening.
All right. I'm going to do a two-for as well, just for expediency's sake and time and all that. Music Talk from John, I don't think is watching anymore, but he had mentioned this song back at the beginning. A band that I absolutely love, and I think John just picked up this CD recently. It's Grace Potter and the Nocturnals, a band that I love. I have seen them. I've met Grace, and I met Scott Tournay, her guitar player. Band no longer together. They were one of those throwback rock kind of things, right? Sort of that 70s kind of rock. With a little bit of a blues influence. This was their self-titled album from 2011. This was their third record, something like that. They did one more after this, and then Grace got an ego and broke up the band, and she's never been as good since. This album was absolutely incredible, and I'm rambling a lot, only to say that there's a song on here called Hot Summer Night, which is about the middle of winter.
That's all right. Yeah.
And it literally goes, it's a hot summer night, but it's the middle of the winter. Like, that's how the song starts. What it is about, it is about two individuals having a very hot night, if you know what I'm saying. They're doing some aerobic, shall we say. But, it's a hot summer night in the middle of winter. Um, but the way this song is written, when you hear it, all you're thinking about is, yeah, it's humid out. Your clothes are covered in sweat, just like we've been feeling here in Ontario for the last 3 days. You get all those feels because it's all the imagery of what a hot summer night is. You're sitting outside and it's humid, and you feel how you feel on a hot summer night, even though it's about having sex in the middle of winter. So it does a good job of painting the picture about how disgusting and hot and gross, a hot summer night is when it's hot and sweaty in that song for a different reason. And here's another one I'm going to show. This feels very summery, the Cocktail soundtrack. I'm not a Tom Cruise fan. I don't even like this movie, to be quite honest. But I had this soundtrack as a kid on cassette because I like the Beach Boys, and this is where you find Kokomo. Which, here's the thing. You either say it's a great Beach Boys song or it's absolutely fucking garbage. In the context of the stuff that the Beach Boys put out, Kokomo is totally fucking garbage. But it's also a very fun song. So take it or leave it. But there's a good part of this movie where Tom is down he's a bartender, obviously. There's a part of it he's down in the tropics somewhere at a fancy resort being a bartender. And you have songs like Kokomo on here and some other ones that sort of make you feel like Tutti Frutti is on here and Hippie Hippie Shake. So it's now I'm with summery feels, but it's renowned because Kokomo is on here. So
the Satellites version of Hippie Hippie Shake is
fantastic.
Great. Yeah. Tom Cruise has one song in his movies that is on my shit list on every album. Old Time Rock and Roll, Kokomo, and Danger Zone. I don't need to hear those ones again. But because not overplay. I've heard it too many times in my life.
Right.
It's a good soundtrack, though. I mean, his movies definitely garnered. Yes, it is.
It is
definitely garnered good music wrapped around them. They always had great music in them. It was a thing, right?
It's funny you make that statement, Richard. I was watching this. I don't know what it's called. I think it's called. What's the name of the YouTube channel? I think it's called React. The React channel. I was watching it last night, and they have these. They might be in their 20s or whatever. And the objective of this game show is that they play songs that are catchy, and if they get caught dancing or singing to any of them, they lose points. And it's so funny because I could see Kokomo being on there and them just not being able to contain themselves. So if you get a chance to watch it, I think it's called React channel. And it's pretty funny, I think.
I've been on a big Beach Boys kick lately since Brian Wilson died. And I have such massive appreciation for Brian Wilson. The man was a genius. And, I've always been a huge Beatles fan, but I listen to some of those songs that are brilliant, like Good Vibrations, Heroes and Villains, God Only Knows. Some of that stuff is, I'm sorry, but light years ahead of what the Beatles did. I mean, the harmonies in some of those songs are absolutely incredible. Yeah, they did the, Help Me Around the, Surfing Safari kind of stuff, which is fun too. And there's some good harmonies on there. But some of the stuff that Brian did was absolutely incredible. Kokomo was not written. It was written by John Phillips and somebody else. And then Mike Love contributed probably 3 words because that's about all he can do. And, they harmonize it and whatever. And John Stamos is in it and, whatever. It's fun. I really enjoy it, but it's not good. It's not good by any means, but it's fun. I just bought this because it was $4 at my local record store. And I had this as a cassette as a kid. And I played the shit out of here. Someone said in the comments, where is it? Yes. Yeah. Ry Cooder's rearrangement of All Shook Up is incredible. I love Mellencamp's Rave On that's on here. It's great. It's such a good soundtrack, and I'm not generally a soundtrack person, so I rambled way too long about the Kokomo or the Cocktail soundtrack. That's embarrassing.
No.
Jesus. Okay, Daryl.
All right. So what are we doing here? Are we doing one more and then a speed round? Is that the idea?
I got 3 records left, so however you guys want to handle it, whatever.
I think I've got 4 left, but 2 of them have already been shown. So mine kind of gonna go that way. Yeah, we'll do one. I'll do one and then a speed round. Okay. So Richard, I know that if Richard's still here, I know you're gonna like this one because I know you like these guys. Good old Canadian band out of I believe it's Winnipeg. This album here doesn't scream summer per se. However, there is a song on it that, for whatever reason, every time I hear it, reminds me of summer and just kind of relaxing in summer. And that's Crash Test Dummies. This one's the God Shuffled Your Feet album, but Swimming in Your Ocean. I don't know what it is about that song. There's Swimming in Your Ocean is fantastic and just reminds me of maybe going to the beach. I think maybe I heard it the first time going to the beach, and there's a song I'll talk about after, but I don't have it on an album. And it's the same thing. The first time I heard it was going to the beach. And so, yeah, Crash Test Dummies. I mean, once again, they don't scream summer.
No.
But that one song, there's just something about it that jumps out to me, screams summer from my high school days. So
to our American friends who may not know that album, the big hit off there was however you pronounce that. That was a big hit in the States.
Which then Weird Al took and parodied it, and it's fucking hilarious.
Of course it is. Absolutely.
Yep.
I need to get that. I've got the album before that, which has Superman's song on it, which is a great song.
Mm-hmm.
Peter Pumpkinhead. I know. I think, were they not one of the bands that you came around to? I think that was that in your
video? Yeah. Right? My dad actually. We'll go with a funny story. The first time I ever came home drunk, I was I think I was 18. No, I was 19. Because all the kids wanted me to buy them stuff, and I said no. But the first time I ever came home, my mother was furious. She was just furious, and she thought I was faking it at first, but then realized when my buddy started puking in the toilet that we weren't faking it. Anyway, my dad used to be a security guard at a gold mine, and he was working the night shift. And my mom called him at work all pissed off, and my dad said, "Well, hey, just let them sleep it off, and I got a plan." My dad got home at 6:00 in the morning. That was what he could get home. And he threw on Crash Test Dummies as loud as he could while he was making bacon and eggs. And the smell of my house was so awful that, I promised never to do it ever again. Yeah.
And then
it
you
didn't
never
work
did.
until about 20 years later, I suppose. Now I don't do that stuff at all, but yeah, no, it's just a funny story along with the Crash Test Dummies.
Nice.
I love that story. That's fantastic. There you go. Great song. Okay, Joe.
Just got a thunderstorm warning.
Uh-oh.
Conditions are favorable for the development of severe thunderstorms that may be capable of producing strong wind gusts, large hail, and heavy rain. So I'll take the rain. I don't know if I want the rest of it, but we're right in the middle of it. So. Anyway, not that you needed to know that, but I don't know if you heard the little warning go off, but on my phone. Anyway, what do I got? I'm going to do this. Yeah, let's do this. I'm going to start with the summer first. And it is a young lady wearing her summer dress, and it is July Talk, the first album. Good, great album, and really good Canadian band. I like them, and from what I understand, because I haven't seen them, they are fantastic live. So I'm not sure. Like I said, I haven't had the opportunity yet. This is the black cover with the white album. There's the reverse of it with the white cover and the black album. Good stuff, but Summer Dress starts off side 2 on here, and it's really good, and they're just really good. I like his voice, and from what I understand, again, she is fantastic when they're live, and it's good stuff. They're on their 4th album. They had one last year. Good Canadian band, again, just haven't had a chance to see them yet, but Summer Dress is the summer part, and the heat part is a little DLR, who I think had a birthday yesterday, was 70 something, David Lee Roth. And the EP that started the breakup, from what I understand, they made a pact that none of them would ever do anything outside of the band, and that Eddie went and played with Michael Jackson and Dave did this. But there are some fantastic videos. If you're out there looking for cheese videos, go and watch any of these. It's Dave TV. But Just a Gigolo, and I mean, it's all the covers or whatever, but Coconut Grove and California Girls. Speaking of the Beach Boys, maybe an honorary, pretty decent cover of a Beach Boys songs with California Girls, but good old David Lee Roth cannot sing, cannot dance, should not be out in public anymore, but he still is all the time, and he's doing shit, and he shouldn't be, but he is. So he is completely lounge singer Dave now, unfortunately, but that's a fun album. And he had some good solos, but that's a fun album, that EP.
Richard says he's got that July Talk on CD. So
yeah, like I said, they've got 4, and I hope that they continue because, again, they're very good, and I hope to see them live at some point because they're supposed to be fantastic. So
they're on the road pretty much all the time, so they should come through your neck of the woods at some point.
Yeah, eventually, whether there'll be an opener for someone, which they're starting. Well, like I said, with 4 now, they could probably do their own tour, but they're still opening for some bands, and they're in a lot of the festivals. Just nothing here. So right now, anyway, this year.
Yeah. Okay. Are we doing one more round, or what are we doing?
Sure. I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever you like. Yeah.
Okay. I got 3 more, so I'll do a 3 for 1. Okay. I've mentioned that I think this is one of the worst album covers ever, but is a fantastic live record. Neil Diamond, Hot August Night. Man, oh man. I don't know what you say about that album cover, but this is great, right? I mean, this was wasn't it the Greek Theater where this was recorded, if I'm not mistaken? Here's the gatefold. Look at that.
Look at his hair. Oh my word.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh, right here. Recorded in concert at the Greek Theater in Los Angeles. So this was in the mid 70s. It's the 72. So imagine it's probably recorded that year or the year before. Amazing. What a great concert. And I think there's Hot August Night 2, 3, and 4, if I'm not mistaken. And there's another one called Love at the Greek. So he's got a lot of live Greek theater albums, but Hot August Night's fantastic. I've seen Neil, and he was amazing, even though he was 70 years old when I saw him. So, so I mean, that's pretty summary right there. Hot August Night.
I broke my own rule. There's the gatefold for July Talk. It's just him and her.
There you go.
Sorry.
No problem. This is not explicitly a summer record or a summer song, but always makes me think of summer. Janis Joplin's version of Me and Bobby McGee.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's basically 2 young kids, teenagers or whatever, going on a hitchhiking road trip across the United States. And I don't think, in my mind, it's always the summer. I mean, I can't imagine that. I know it says in all kinds of weather, but that song doesn't have the same effect if you're driving through the snow, I don't think. Right. So
no.
To me, I always think of Me and Bobby McGee as a summer sort of road tripping song. And I did have the privilege of seeing Chris Christopherson, who wrote it. I saw him perform it live with a little band called Blue Rodeo. So one of the highlights of my life that I got to see that was pretty cool. So Me and Bobby McGee. And lastly, this is a little known indie artist. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of this person or not. This is Taylor Swift.
Never.
Never heard of her. She's a singer-songwriter. She's got a few albums and she tours a little bit sometimes.
I'll watch out for her.
You should. This is a very poppy kind of album from to 2018. And there's a song in here called Cruel Summer, which she opened all the Eras tour shows with. And it's she has a reputation for writing love songs about relationships. And generally they're either in the midst of a relationship or a lot of them are post-relationship. And Cruel Summer is about a a passion-filled summer romance that was fraught with romantic, explosive, volatility, shall we say. How about that? So Cruel Summer by Taylor Swift. That's it. That's all I got. Daryl.
Oh, Taylor. Okay. So this next one, I'm going to use this album as a placeholder because I don't have the other ones. But when I think of summer, you already showed this one, Joe. You showed Don Henley. Speaking of dicks, but the Boys of Summer. But I'm thinking of the Eagles straight up. And this one, the long run is a gatefold. We'll show the gatefold, but I'm using it as a placeholder. Hotel California. I don't know what it is. That song for me screams summer. Every time I hear it, it's just got some chill vibes. But the one that for me most exemplifies summer, and I talked about this, hearing a song at the beach, and that's from the Hell Freezes Over one, and that's Love Will Keep Us Alive. I don't know what it is about that song. Every time I hear it, the guitar and everything, I think there's even like in the background almost the sound of water or a beach, but the Hell Freezes Over, Love Will Keep Us Alive. There's just something about that screams summer to me, just because that's the first time I heard it was at the beach.
Here's Hell Freezes Over.
Yeah.
That was
how hard is that one to find?
The original from back in the day, stupid expensive, but then they reissued it. I want to say like 6 or 7 years ago. This is the reissue. You can find it all over the place. Very easy to find.
Yeah. No, I like that song, and once again it reminds me of me and my brother and some friends. We went to the beach, and at the time I had a girlfriend, and we were all there. Just reminds me of that day. And like I said, that for whatever reason, even the song "Love Will Keep Us Alive" almost has that beach vibe to it. I don't know why, but it just does with the guitar.
That was our wedding song, "Love Will Keep Us Alive."
Yeah,
but instead of having the Eagles do it, my good friend Blake, who's a musician, he played that song for us. He brought his guitar and he played that song for us at our wedding. So
right on. And I also have a soundtrack twofer here. One you've already talked about, so Cocktail. But the other one, and I haven't seen this movie, but I love the song Surrender to Me. And that is Tequila Sunrise, which I've never seen the movie. I can't tell you if it's good or not, but I was reading about it, and there is a point where they're at the beach and stuff like that. And I mean, you can even see it kind of in the bottom corner there. It's the sunrise and the beach and the boats in the background. So yeah, we'll end that off with a little Kurt Russell movie.
Yeah, you can never really go that far wrong with Michelle Pfeiffer. She even made Grease 2 good, didn't she? There you go. Just to get your mind off of Taylor. So,
holy Jesus. I'm not supposed to be this aroused on a YouTube live stream, but Michelle Pfeiffer singing Cool Rider on top of that ladder in Grease 2. Holy.
On a hot Wednesday night in Ontario. Yeah.
Good Lord. Okay.
Yada.
It's your turn, Joe.
All right. Honorable mentions, quick ones. We'll go to the Pat Travers Band and Heat in the Street. Pat Travers, Boom, 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 Out Go the Lights, most notably. But Heat in the Street was the reason that I pulled the Pat Travers Band. And then one of my favorite Canadian bands that I talk about a lot, but they have got a song on here called, I should know it. What the hell? I listened to this. I haven't listened to this album as much as I should have, but One More Summer. That's the song on here. Glorious Sons, good stuff. Another favorite band of mine that I like to listen to a lot. The album is called Flame. That's not necessarily why, but a little bit of Slade and Summer Song, Wish You Were Here. So it's, I wish you were here for the summer. They definitely... This is going to sound stupid because I think a lot of songs are a lot of songs about what is in the title. But if summer's in the title, other than having sex in December, most of the time it is about something in the summer with a summer song, right? So
true.
I'll go back to Heat for a second. And again, one of my all-time favorite albums, one of my all-time favorite bands, White Heat. pardon me, White Light, White Heat, White Trash, Social Distortion. Fantastic. There's a hell of a back cover on that one. So that being the White Light, that being the White Heat, and that being the White Trash for those keeping score. Little Billy Idol and All Summer Single was the one off of Whiplash Smile. So not the biggest album for him, but there's him and Steve Stevens on the back. And the 5 and the 6, no, it's not a triple album, but the first album have sides 1 and 2, the second album 3 and 4, the third album 5 and 6. And I'm not sure if he continued that. And then we're going to end it off with, you've got Taylor Swift and you've got, Michelle Pfeiffer, and we all have some of our favorite girls. And did I mention watch the Raquel Welch documentary? But one of my guilty pleasures, and a lady that I like to listen to, is Donna Summer, plus a lady that I like to look at as well. Not that we are objectifying women or doing that in any way, shape, or form, but Donna Summer is sexy as hell. And so it's the Bad Girls album, and it's her being a bad girl and the cops on the inside. Very disco, very late 1970s, but I like Donna Summer, especially in the summer.
There you go.
Ta-da.
Ta-da. I am surprised that arguably the biggest summer artist was never shown tonight, and that was Mr. Margaritaville.
Yeah, and then there was Mungo Jerry in the summertime. There was Summertime Girl, Y&T. Trevor mentioned, or someone mentioned, Honeymoon Suite, Wave Babies, and that album could have certainly made its way onto this as well. But
yeah, surprised. A couple of things here. Richard's saying there's an extended version of Hot Dogs Night on CD. I did not know that. If anyone wants it, I have a video disc of Hot Dogs Night. Does anyone still play video discs?
I don't know. They come up, the players come up for sale every once in a while, because I'm always watching for other stuff on used Regina, etc.
Right.
Again, things that sound dirty but aren't used Regina. Yeah.
Right.
Anyway, move along. Yep.
Richard's saying I need a cold shower after the Michelle Pfeiffer thing. Indeed. That Slade album is super.
Yeah.
Glorious Sons.
Yep. Devin has heard me go on and on about them before. So
yes. Okay. That was good, guys. As we always do, we'll go around the horn and plug your channel, plug your whatever. Daryl's got a bunch of videos on the go because he had some time off. So he's been queuing them up for everybody. What's going on your channel there, Daryl?
Yeah, so this morning I actually forgot it was even queued up, and then I got up and there was a couple of comments already. I did one that was released this morning, just about different book genres that I read. I started with the music genres, and then I kind of queued in the whole if you're not interested in looking at anything else, and now you can just switch it off. But I just, like I said, my crime books and stuff, and I thought what was really funny is Steve from A is for Alice. He put a comment in there and he was saying, like, as I live in the cold, I must read crime books. And he talked about Clifford Olson. And he's like, you must know who that guy is. And I'm like, I sure do. One of Canada's most famous serial killers.
Indeed.
That most other people in the world wouldn't have heard of, because when people think of Canadians, they don't think of mass murderers. But yeah, he's up the top there. He was not a nice person. We'll put it that way.
Correct.
I'm sure that one of my books has them.
So speaking of murderers, or in this case, alleged murderers, you guys probably remember the story of Stephen Truscott. He was, do you remember that, Joe, from back in the 50s? He was a teenager accused of murdering a girl and went to prison for a very long time and was acquitted in the late 90s. I think there was new evidence and he was found not guilty. Did I ever tell you guys my Stephen Truscott story?
I don't believe you did. No.
So for years, even prior to, I guess he got, I don't know if he was exonerated, in a new trial, or I don't remember how that happened, but around the time that all that was happening, he had got out of prison and he was living in the city that I live in. You guys know where I live. And I would see him every single Friday at the grocery store because I had an 85-year-old grandmother, and I would take her grocery shopping every Friday because she was 85. And I got to use her handicap sticker and park in the handicap spot, which was awesome. So I would take grandma grocery shopping every Friday, and we'd go, and I get my groceries at the same time because I worked from home, so I could do that. So we'd go in, and she'd go her way, and I'd go my way. Every single Friday, I would pass Stephen Truscott in the grocery store, and I knew who he was. And nod, hello, Mr. Truscott, and nod, hi. And I saw him every day every week for damn near a year. I don't know where he is now, but
that's actually it's a tragic story to spend that much time in prison for something you never did.
Yeah, I think he was like 17, I think, and he spent like 50 years in prison, something like 45 years in prison, something like that.
Just insane.
We did that to a few guys here.
We did,
unfortunately, right? But
we did.
Yeah.
So other than my book video, I had promised to do that Duolingo challenge. That's going to be the next one, and then there's a few others coming up. So it's pretty much queued up that it's every Wednesday and Saturday. I think that I'm going to have some videos for the next little bit, and then on the 18th of July, I head out for my summer holiday. So I'll be gone. I'll be gone for 3 weeks.
Okay.
Doing Rob's favorite thing.
Oh, camping. God, no. Not camping.
Camping.
Fuck. Nope. Not happening. Never happened.
Does it count because I'm not in my trailer anymore, but we have rented a small cabin near a national park? Does that count as camping?
Does it have electricity and running water?
Yes.
Then that's not
my trailer. So did my trailer, though.
Yeah, but that's
if I get an electrical site, is that camping?
Yes. Are you sleeping in a tent?
Yes.
Yes, then that's camping.
That's camping.
Yeah, that's camping.
That's camping.
Anyway, yeah.
I'm so spoiled I won't even sleep in a shitty hotel.
Yeah. There
Enough
you go.
of that nonsense. Well, when you're away, we'll see if Tim's still watching. Maybe Tim will want to sub in for you.
You might have to have a couple of extras because I'm gone the last 2 Wednesdays of, although I'll be in range, but anyway, the last 2 Wednesdays.
We'll figure it out.
So yeah,
we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But
I will be here the next 3 weeks for sure.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Daryl, not Daryl? You're Daryl. You're Joe. Joe, what's going on at the store? What's going on a vinyl? What do you want to tell folks?
Yeah, store's been good actually. Store had a busy week last week. It's been good. I'm not sure if kids getting out of school or something, but anyway, it was good. And then I referenced it, and the boxes are sitting over there about a small collection yesterday from a gentleman that had a bunch of good stuff in it, and bought another collection a little while ago. So gonna do a little bit of a whack-a-mole on the 2 boxes that I pulled. I don't like to show the whole box. I don't like to do flip videos because I want people to come into the store. I don't want to go, here's what we've got, and then they don't see anything they like. I mean, not to be misleading, but I want you to come in and have a look, because if you don't see anything you want in that box, doesn't mean there's not something else.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably do one of those, a little whack-a-mole, and talk about picking up the new collection, and then put all that stuff out in the next bit. And yeah, it's been good. Haven't done anything on my channel as of late. There's so many people doing stuff. Daryl does lots of good stuff. You do lots of good stuff. I don't need to do stuff. I look forward to this, and I'll hop on with Chris one Sunday afternoon. Hopefully he'll ask me again and do that. And yeah, so that's what I've been doing the store stuff, and then try and do the live stuff. But you never know. I had one all planned out, and then I decided that I didn't want to do it because it was going to be a little confrontational, and I chose not to do that. So
fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I'm with you, Richard. He says he only camps at Hilton or Marriott. I'm a Marriott Envoy member for a reason. So, what have I been up to? Well, I did a video on my Sunday video just this past Sunday was a thread response. I don't do a lot of threads, but I kind of liked this one. Rob Walker was talking about his 200th video, and he showed a bunch of 12-inch singles. And well, shit, I haven't talked about 12-inch singles ever, maybe. And I don't have a ton, but I had enough to do his videos, so I showed some 12-inch singles, of which one of them was had Summer of '69 on it, which is Joe's favorite song. So I did that. And then on Sunday, I was on Chris Mann's live stream. Chris is over in Wales, so nighttime for him, middle of the afternoon for me. He started doing that about a month ago, and I've been on most of them. I missed one or two because, sometimes the wife likes to put me to work on a Sunday afternoon doing, honey-do chores, which is fine. So whenever I can make it, I enjoy being on those. So we did. Chris had hit his 666 subscribers, so he wanted to do a little devil, hell, and fire was sort of the theme of the episode. So that was a lot of fun. So we did that. So that's what's been cooking. I have no idea what this week's video is going to be yet. I haven't thought about it, but I'll think about it, and there'll be something coming up on Sunday. So
You'll come up with something. Yep.
Yeah. So, well, guys, that was a lot of fun. Glad to be back. Even though we were only gone for a week, it felt like a long time because this is kind of the highlight of the week for me. So enjoyed it. Thanks, guys. To everyone that tuned in tonight, thank you for joining us. We love interacting with all of you. Devin, I'll shoot you an email shortly. And for all those that are going to watch this later on in playback, thanks for spending a couple hours with us. We will be back next week. We'll probably have a guest with us. I tentatively have somebody lined up. So we'll see everybody next week. Thanks, everybody. Have a good one, and we'll see you later.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Take care.